very talkative Egyptian geese over there having a loud conversation as Egyptian geese do. Oh, fight. Oh, chaos, chaos. A meeting of, I think, two mating pairs. Oh, serious fight, actually. At this point, I have absolutely no idea which one is on which team, but they are very cross. And an interloper is being seen off. Oh, now there's another one. Now there's 5. Chaos and pandemonium at the Boyatella Dam. I'd love to tell you which ones are chasing which ones and how this is all working, but I have absolutely no idea. Usually you find a breeding pair sets up shop in their little corner of a waterhole like this one, and they defend it fiercely against other geese arriving either in pairs or singly. But there appear to be these three, that are okay with each other. Oh no, there's a 4th one over there. No, they're not okay with each other.
So this particular species is covered in these very long white hairs, and it's got a black dorsal stripe, and then it almost looks like it's got antennas, these sort of black sort of streaks. And there's quite a few different species of moths specifically that have very hairy larval stage. So it's hard to tell, but if you look at I think you pronounce it agalots, you can look at the lappet moths. Sorry, I'm just going to reply to that in a moment. The lappet moths, as I said, and then, what is the other one? Now it's completely slipped my mind. Why do I do this? The agalots, the lappet moths, and the tussock. They all have hairy caterpillars for the most part. So I need to do some further investigations as to what this could potentially be. But it stands out like a sore thumb. There's zero blending in on this bush willow.
There we go. How awesome is that? Ooh, that's full belly. That belly is very full. That belly is very, very full. Yay! Right, it's probably just going into shade now because the sun is getting up now. It's rising, and it's going to be an intense warm day. Right, interesting to figure out who this lioness is. I suspect it's one of the members of the Ngati Pride. It's not an overly young lioness. In fact, looking at the nose, one of the things we use to age lions, this is a mature lioness. That nose is already quite dark. It might be one of the lionesses who's got cubs, or perhaps pregnant. We saw that belly was very, very, very full. I can't, from what I see, say exactly whether that's babies in there or if it's just a lot of meat. I did see some blood stains, so I suspect it's meat, or perhaps a combination of both. We can still see some pink on the nose there, so it's not a fully grown lioness, but not a young girl either. So there's a nice face that you can compare with some previous screenshots. If anybody can use those to help us confirm, help us.
Now Lena, who is 8 years old, Lena, thank you for sending through your question. Lena's got a very good question. And she wants to know why it is that hippos have such pink ears. It's a marvelous question because you'd think that those would be areas that would be darker in color, because those are the parts of the hippopotamus that are exposed to the sun more frequently. You'd think it would make more sense. Sometimes, Lena, you can see a pink coloration on a hippopotamus because they actually produce a secretion in their skin that is pink in color. And it's thought to have, or it's known to have, really good antiseptic properties. So I don't know what your parents or your teachers ever, if you ever fall and scrape your knees, if they put something on there to help keep the wound clean, that sort of chemical will have similar properties to the ones that hippos can produce naturally. They produce this specific substance, and it's called hipposudoric acid, and it helps to, I won't quiz you on that later, don't worry. It helps to actually keep their wounds clean, and may also have some sunblock effect. That all said, that's not responsible for the pale pink color around the eyes and the ears. And you know what? I don't really know why those particular areas, they are the more sensitive areas, but I don't actually know why they're pink in color and not darker. I love sitting and watching weavers. I could do it all day. Probably not all day, that's maybe an exaggeration, but I could definitely sit and watch them for a few hours. Their antics are hugely entertaining when they realize that the nests are not of sufficient quality, and it's not always the female, because I have seen male weavers build a nest and then decide that it just simply isn't up to scratch and tear down their own nest. And then occasionally you'll see them fighting over each other's nests as well, which is something I didn't realize that they did until relatively recently. There's one that's perfect. Let's have a look at that one there, BK, the one with the bird in it. Frantically building away. Imagine having to build something in 3 dimensions, but you to hang upside down like that at the same time and bob and weave as the wind blows. Imagine what that must be like. It would be so ridiculously difficult. There we go. Stripping the tree of suitable material. Can't tell if it's a leaf or some green bark off the twigs. No, given up there. On to the next one. There's a leaf. No, drop that one. Drop that one too. Now you're just picking off leaves for the fun of it. There you go. Gone, gone.